welcome to another one in the series of the Ellis Clark Trains how-to videos. In this one we're going to look at the new Lowmac from Clark Railworks. And what we're going to cover is how to fit some of the detail parts, how to remove the NEM coupling for use with other styles of couplings, how to fit the cosmetic screw coupling, and a little look as well on the lashing eyes, how you can position those ready to put load on. The final section of the video will cover converting the wagon to EM gauge, which would also then be the same procedure for doing to a P4 gauge. So first of all, we'll just do a quick overview of the wagon as you get it. When you open your box, first thing you'll get is a set of instructions, and on these instructions it actually covers what I'm going to be covering today. However, this video is just a little add-on, as we do say on the need assistance at the side here, just to cover that we will help if we can via the phone, but this video may just cover some little bits that you're just not showing on the little images. On the other side of the paperwork, you get an overview of the actual wagon itself and the model, the history, etc. Moving on to the model then. First thing, as we open the box, we have this little bag here at the top, which is the detail parts, which we'll come on to in a moment, and the wagon itself. So the wagon itself, looking underneath, it's completely die-cast underneath, as you can probably hear. The parts we're going to be covering today are in this sort of area here more so, and obviously changing the wheels over to P4 later on. So first of all, if we can see there on the NEM pocket, she's sat there. All we're going to do, onto the detail parts, and if we just get those out, I'm just going to put them onto the mat. So we'll just run through those first of all, what comes with it. Within the detail parts then, we've got 2 air tanks. Now, the air tanks can only be used if the complete socket is removed. So this will be used for if you are using proper 3-link couplings. If you're using NEM sockets, i.e. with the tension lock couplings or KDs or magnetics, you can't fit the air tanks because they go in the same place. The next ones are 2 replacement sets of brake, gear and pull rods. They are for EM and P4 only. If you're in 00, you don't need to worry about this. Yours are already fitted. We've got 2 tension lock coupling themselves. Then we've got some additional air pipes for certain models, which we're going to cover. And then last of all, we've got a cosmetic screw coupling. Now I must stress, this is a cosmetic. It does not physically work. So you would only have this if you're positioning the wagon maybe in a yard and not using it. And we'll come on to those as well in a few moments. So first of all then, the one that most people will want to use is the actual coupling itself. So when you get your wagon out, you have to fit them. All you do, put them in at a slight angle, and with your finger there, just push the other side in. And in they go. And you'll hear them click, click. There we go. That's it in now. Just do the other side for you. Little bit of force. And in they go. There we go. And that is the NEM pockets now done and ready for your wagon to go onto your layout. Should you want to remove them at a later stage, just give them a firm pull outwards and they'll pop back out. Like so. Not the easiest to get out, but you could argue you probably wouldn't be taking them out anyway. There we go. That's those out. So the next thing we'll cover is the actual coupling hook itself for a cosmetic coupling. These coupling hooks are in etched brass. They're not plastic. So should you want to fit a proper screw coupling to them, you can do at the top there. They will slot in. But I'm sure if you're using proper 3-link screw couplings, you're probably happy on how you're going to fit those yourself anyway. So first of all, the cosmetic coupling, all we physically do is there's a little groove further back, we just pop it in like so and just pull it down, and that's it there, fitted. It is cosmetic, it won't physically work, it's not an etched brass one, and that's that item. The next item that we're going to cover, the vacuum pipe is fitted on this from the factory, and what you probably like is it's a very rubbery plastic, as you can see, so it won't catch and break, which I think is a great idea. Well done to our designer on that one. However, if we want to fit the other ones, all it is, just here, there is a small square. I'm putting the tweezers into it now, and all it is just a matter of a touch of super glue, a little bit of super glue on the item, and we just pop her in like so, and just push it down into the little square hole like that, and that is the extra pipe fitted should you require it. The reason they're not fitted to every model is, please look at photographs, depending what period you're modelling is whether they were fitted or not. So that's those. Okay, the last part I want to cover are the lifting eyes, the lashing eyes, which are located around the vehicle here. These are done in an etched brass and are a little bit of positionable. So you could lift them out of the wagon just slightly to allow you to get your chain through or cotton through to represent rope if you're fitting a load. And all you need to do is just very, very gently, just get a pair of tweezers and just put it through the eye and just position them up like so, and they will move like that, look. So you can then, I know I did one myself at home the other night, you can then run your cotton through, as you can see there, or your chain through, etc. I must stress, they are positionable. They're not bendable up and down constantly because they will break, but you can do as you need with them. As you can see, that one's positioned down, and that's the same with these on the end as well. You can position them as required. And that really covers the first part of the video, which is fitting the detailed parts, using some of the parts on the wagon like the lashing eyes, etc. Other than that, the vehicle is ready to go and ready to go onto your layout as soon as you need it to. What we're going to cover in this video is the converting of the model to EM gauge. So I'm just going to run through a few of the tools that we're using. First of all, I need a little pair of tweezers, small pair of pliers, possibly need some super glue. Obviously we need a set of wheel sets, which are sat there. I'll come on to those in a moment. Back-to-back gauge. We possibly might need a scalpel, maybe, maybe not. And we'll use a pen just to point with because it's easier. So you don't actually need the pen. I've got a little palette to put some glue in and a cocktail stick just to put any glue on should we need it. Now, first of all, we've already covered in a previous video how to fit the detail parts, etc. to the model. This is solely how to fit wheel sets into the model that are EM gauge. This will also be exactly the same for P4. First of all, the wheel sets we're using today are Allen Gibson wheel sets. They're already set to EM gauge, but I have bought a back-to-back just to make sure that we're happy with everything before we put them in. The next thing is, the model was designed from the beginning with the correct length axles to accept Allen Gibson wheel sets in EM and P4. So therefore there's no adjusting of the bearings, there's no worry that the axles won't fit, they go straight in. So first of all, what we do is, if we look here at this end, we've got all the brake gear, etc. It's a little bit of a thought of what to do, but first of all, this bar here with the triangular piece at the end, we need to lift that up and pull her out. The next thing we do is grabbing hold of the brake gear itself. If you wiggle round, you can pull out. They're not glued in, they're designed this way in the factory to just push into little square holes. Next one is to just move back this piece of pull rod. It's just a piece of brass. It will move back like a hinge almost. So we lift this lot out, just wiggle it out from the wheels. Out she comes. She will come out. They are on a plastic that's quite pliable, so don't worry about breaking the model or anything. Out they come. Put that to one side. Next thing is we've got the NEM coupling socket here. Sorry, I've got my fingers in the way. We'll lift up and pull out and away. That leaves us now the wheel itself. If we use this forefinger and just use this nail just to pull the W iron back, we can move it out enough. Same at the other side, just enough to remove the wheel set. And that's the 00 wheel set removed. Next thing is we're going to fit the Allen Gibson EM wheel set. Once again, just checking that back-to-backs are correct in case they've moved in transit or anything like that. These are all correct. Everything's fine on that. Out they come. It says dropping the wheel on the floor. Put the wheel back on. Same again. Pull the W iron back towards you. Put the first bit of the axle in. And then with your thumb, push the W iron away from you. And there we are. As you can see, completely free and running. That's an EM wheel setting straight away. Next thing we want to do is, because we're going to EM gauge or P4, we're probably not going to be using NEM sockets anymore. We're probably going to on the screw couplings, is to fit the air tank. Now, if we look at the air tank, it's got a 30-degree chamfer, which follows the chamfer of the model. So we put that in the same way and push that down into, there's a little rectangular hole and a rectangular peg. They push into there, in it goes, and that will then go into place on the model. As we can see, they're a tight fit, that's it and done. As we can see to the other end, where it's still in 00, where it's got the NEM socket. I find that doing an end at a time is better, otherwise we have a load of little parts that we're not sure where they all go, and there's left and right-handed ones if we're not careful. The next one is this little part here. This is back to the 00 brake gear. There's like a U-shaped piece of pull rod here that's in brass, painted black. If you notice, it goes into the groove here. Pull it apart. There you go. And then if we look at the same part in the EM or P4 one and position it the same way, you'll see it's exactly the same, just wider. And the next one is, you then pop this back in. However, if you notice, there's two sets of holes. You're using the outer set now for this set of brake gear. And all it's a matter is making sure that you position it the right way around, so the longer legs go towards the buffers. Make sure she's in the correct holes as you put them in. And just work them in with your tweezers. They're located now on this side. I'm just going to do these back ones now. If you need to, you can just put a tiny bit of super glue on just to locate them in and stop them moving out, because chances are if you're EMing it, you're probably not going to be putting it back to 00 ever again. It's probably going to be staying in that RP4. It's probably going to be staying as a wagon like that. So if you are doing that, all I do is, I must admit, I did do it on my own personal one because I do modelling EM gauge. I did that myself. So we're just going to put a tiny little bit on the end of here before we pop her in. Let's get some more glue out. Not saying you have to do this, but mine will be staying EM. I don't think I'll be actually ever putting them back to 00 again. So there we go. That's in. That's that one in. The next piece is this part again. If you remember, it went in like so. If you've got the other side to look at, if you're a little bit unsure, it wiggles in and it fits into a tab. You'll hear it click when you've got it right. Pull it back in. That one can go into position. It's in. Last bit then, if we remember back to this part now, she goes with that piece there, the flat, towards the buffer beam, not that way around. Sounds a little bit obvious, but sometimes we can all get it a little bit out when we try to remember which way pieces go. And it just slides into a slot on the model, like so. Same again, if you want to, and this is your model, you could glue these in, and then they're in for good. The factory don't glue them because we've stated that if anybody wants to change it with him at P4, you don't have to break parts out, etc. So that now is done in. We've just got the last little bits, which is this bit to bring up and clip back in, like so. We'll just pull them forward a little bit. That's gone in now into its hole. They go into there. And if we turn that round now, that's in as an EM1. And there we go. That's the wagon done and EM'd. As you can see, with the old sets of wheels there. And done. Same procedure for P4. If you do want to glue the items back in, because chances are you're probably not going to change it back, I would probably say you're better off doing, because then you can do your detailing, your screw couplings, etc, etc. And that is the model now in EM gauge, ready to go on its layout. So thank you very much for your time. Hope you found some interesting little insights there into the Ellis Clark Trains, Clark Railworks Lowmac. Hope to see you in the future on another of our how-to videos. Don't forget to press the subscribe button at the end of the video. Thank you and see you soon.